Hey everyone, this is John Cooney, JMTBO2 from Kongregate.com. We're at Kongregate Live, and we're here today with Andrew Pellerano, who is the creator of several major Flash games, including Bloody Fun Day, Battalion, and
Puzzle Fuzz.
There we go. So we're going to do this again as a Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can go to Kongregate.com and click on the link for Kongregate Live, and we'll get your questions in, and you can ask pretty much anything that Andrew would be willing to answer. So Andrew, let's just start off with some softball questions to get you started.
I don't know anything about softball. Is that the first question?
Yeah, that is the first question. Just tell us a little bit about your background and where you've been making games, and where you got your start, and just the origin story of Andrew.
Okay, let's see. The first game I made, I had Drug Wars for my TI-83. It's some game where you had to like buy one drug and sell the other. It was like an economy game. But I was still young and naive, and I went into the code and replaced all the occurrences of drugs with occurrences of bugs, and I made the game Bug Wars. Because I didn't know how to edit string length yet, so it was just like if I could replace the characters. So cocaine became like crickets and stuff like that, and that was the first time I ever programmed. And then I just kept working on like calculator for a real long time until I took programming classes and started making Flash games.
Cool. Yeah, that's kind of similar to. I think that's where a lot of game developers get their start, is from tinkering around with other people's open source games. Or,
yeah.
And then like I remember one of my first interactions was the snake game. The color of the snake was yellow, so I went in and changed it to like pink or purple. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was random characters, and anyway. So what was your first big game? Like what was the game that like you got your start and like you suddenly realized that?
Like big popular
yeah.
game? It was probably the first Battalion, which was head-to-head. So the Battalion series was created by the company Earthbound that I used to work at. The owner of that was Punny Heritados, and I was building map editors to share Advanced Wars maps on like GameFAQ forums, and he wanted a map editor for his game Battalion head-to-head, and he reached out to me, and I just built a map editor for that. That was probably the first time that I worked on a real game.
Cool. And you want to tell us what the Battalion game is for people who haven't played it?
Yeah, but Battalion is a turn-based strategy game. It's an overhead grid thing where little tanks and people run at each other and shoot at each other.
Cool. And when did Battalion first release?
Oh, it looks like I'm checking my computer, but I'm just consulting my brain. I think head-to-head was 2005. Yeah, 2005-ish. And then the newer series and the ones that are still up on Kongregate, the single player ones are there. Nemesis and Ghosts and all them. Those were done in 2008, maybe 2009.
Yeah. And what was the latest Battalion game you guys worked on?
The last one was the multiplayer version of Battalion.
Cool. And so did you work in a large team for that, or was it like 2 people? Or
yeah, Earthbound was 2 to 5 people, depending on where in time you look at the company. It goes from anywhere from me and Punny to we had a couple artists and maybe another programmer on board with us. The total number of people who worked on Battalion is probably like 6 if you include the guy who did like the storyline and stuff like that. And there was also a pretty big and significant forum following from the original head-to-head forums that helped us balance the game. Okay. So those guys are also really awesome.
Cool. So one of the users on our site, Holy2334, is asking if you guys are going to do another multiplayer version of Battalion, if are you going to bring back, or
there's not one in the works right now. I would love to redo a turn-based strategy game because I love them, but it's just having to match it with the right business opportunity. Like now, it would probably be a mobile game, and there's been a couple attempts at doing a turn-based strategy game on mobile, like Hero Academy. Did you play that one?
I haven't played that.
Okay. but there's like screen limitations. Hero Academy was like a 5x7 grid or something. It's just really tight, and it's hard to get like the same kind of gameplay that Battalion had into that small form factor. So I want to do more games like that. I'm just waiting for, I guess, the right idea to come and hit me in the shower one day or whatever.
Sure. And I see that Solid Skier Pro also asked if more Battalion games are coming. So it sounds like there's quite a bit of hype to get the Battalion series rolling again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Cool. So I know that you've worked with larger teams as well, and Urban Squall was a pretty small company. What is some of the main differences between working in a very small group versus working in a larger group for game development?
Okay, so I worked after Urban Squall, I worked at Zynga for 3 years doing Facebook games, and the team size there was 40 to 60 for the projects that I worked on, so the biggest difference right away is just the number of people that you see every day.
Yeah.
And as a result of getting all those people moving in the same direction, there's a lot more logistics that go into place. There's a lot more pitching your idea up the chain of command and trying to get heat behind it. And there's just a lot more effort put into things like QA. QA for me, as now that I'm back to indie development, means like playing my own game all Sunday. But when we're doing those big games on those big teams, there's just 3 guys whose job is to play them.
Right. Cool. So I have another question from Uzzbuzz. Well, several questions. We'll do the softball first. Let's see. I'm trying to read the question as fast as I can.
Which one is it?
Puzzle design and making a puzzle game is often a challenge. What do you find helps you when trying to come up with different game ideas, especially for puzzle games?
All right. I have like a natural benefit to this because my brain always works in puzzles. Like if you have a tiled grid in a bathroom or like a tablecloth at a table that's a checkered pattern or whatever, I'll look at that and things will start happening on it. Like I'll put little characters down and have them like jumping around and battling each other or whatever. So a lot of my ideas just come from staring at pattern images.
Do you spend a lot of time on pen and paper or with?
Yeah, I love grid paper, which is probably the same exact thing. Like I'll sit there with a piece of grid paper all day and just doodle stuff down.
Cool. Was there any games or board games or even video games growing up that really kind of changed the way you look at games or made you the game developer that you are?
Yeah, I mean, you know the most obvious one. It's Earthbound. John and I are both huge Earthbound fans. Did you openly weep when they announced it for the Wii? No. I openly weeped. I'm not afraid to admit.
I do remember the day you came to the office. It was a run. It wasn't a walk, and you were so excited about Earthbound finally coming out. Earthbound being a Super Nintendo RPG, which it's the best RPG. You can look it up, and you can dispute us in the chat room if you care to.
I just realized I know everybody watching loves JMTD02 over here, and I know a lot about him because I stare at the right side of his face all day. So we can make this a little bit of John facts too. All the things that you would ask John, but he wouldn't give you a straight answer. I'll give you a straight answer.
Oh man, this is gonna end early. Cool.
John facts.
Cool. Uzzbuzz's question number 2 is your favorite pizza type.
Well, it's not the pizza companion because it has like, I guess it's human eyes on it. What makes up those eyes on there? I'm gonna just go with like a meatball pizza. I know that sounds weird. I'm from New Jersey, and I guess meatball pizza is normal there, but not out here.
I think meatballs in general are just normal here. Like
yeah,
you don't find them on sandwiches.
One time I asked for a meatball parm sandwich, and the lady was like, "We can't make that. There's meatballs right there."
Cool. So let's switch over to talking about Bloody Fun Day.
There's no more pizza questions.
That was the last pizza question. It's actually Uzzbuzz's third of his trilogy of questions. So the biggest question that I keep saying over and over again is where is Bloody Fun Day 2?
Bloody Fun Day 2 was in development. I was actually working on it. Urban Squall eventually shut down, and then that's when I went to work at Zynga. And I don't really have the rights to those properties anymore, Bloody Fun Day included. But I can talk about what the sequel was going to be, and someday I'd like to use those characters again in some other game. Bloody Fun Day again is something that doesn't really work on mobile, which is where I'm more focused now.
You want to talk really quickly about what Bloody Fun Day the game is?
Yeah, Bloody Fun Day is a game where you play the Grim Reaper and you go around killing cute creatures. He finds himself on an island full of these little cuties, and you can run around and pop them. And they all die in some gruesome fashion. One of them, when you kill him, he just vomits out blood until his body crumples down as if he was some kind of like tube sock of blood. We had a lot of fun designing those animations. Anyway, yeah, I want to do something with those characters again, where they might make cameos, redrawn, of course, in my other games. But that like hex grid size again doesn't work on mobile. It's hard to find something that works with the right grid size on mobile.
Sure.
Oh, but I should talk about what was in Bloody Fun Day 2. So the first thing I wanted to do is fix the golden eggs, because you know how they would disappear, and like if you didn't get it, a normal thing would hatch out of it. Well, we made new golden cuties that would hatch out of it, which had the goriest of animation ever. And it acted like a wild card, so it could actually link together large groups around it. So it made it easier to get more golden eggs if you weren't able to catch it in time and turn to a golden cutie. And then the other fun thing we're going to do is we're going to put other like horror villains into the game. So I wanted the world to be, you're the Grim Reaper. These cuties are like these innocent people, just like everyone wants them for whatever reason, their souls or what have you. So like Medusa, Zombie Lord, Dracula, like they're all coming out of the woodwork, Frankenstein, to get these cuties. And you're kind of like battling with them over the right to subjugate this population of doughy-eyed, happy little people.
Sure. So Bloody Fun Day was the first game I played of yours, and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, was up until like 2 a.m. playing Bloody Fun Day.
Nice.
It was to the point where.
Would you say that your marriage works because of Bloody Fun Day?
I would say that, yeah, I would say that it's like what holding us together is Bloody Fun Day. So I have to say thanks to that. Question is directed at me. Is that a Dino Wars t-shirt? No, it's just a t-shirt of dinosaur.
It looks like a cowfolk, like cowboys.
Yeah, it is like Old West Cowboys t-shirt.
I would see that movie.
And Andrew's wearing a Earthbound t-shirt. I didn't. It's the once again, it's the best RPG. Come argue with us on the chat room.
I should go into that because you asked me what influenced me, and I kind of said Earthbound, but I didn't say why. And Earthbound was the first game where there was a quirky sense of humor that I picked up on. So like the thing that instantly pops out to me, in one net, there's a sign next to this guy's house. There's a flower patch in the way, and you run up and read the sign because that's what you do in RPGs. And the sign says, "Please don't step on the flowers." There's no way to get to the sign without stepping on the flowers. And that kind of changed the way I look at games. Like, oh, somebody is behind these games making them. That person has a personality and can inject it into their games. I never got that playing like Double Dragon or anything.
Yeah, for me, I played Earthbound for the first time in high school, and for me, it was the realization that something is not right in a video game. I've played Battletoads. I've played all these games that make no sense. I don't understand why this giant muscular toad is fighting. It's not grounded in anything. But Earthbound at the beginning feels so grounded.
And I think Battletoads is a documentary.
and Earthbound is so grounded at the beginning, and then you go and start talking to people and you realize that how ungrounded it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the realization that this game is so I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just so beyond any sense of normal, and video games are just not normal.
Yeah, it's like they were being quirky for the purpose of being quirky.
Right.
Being quirky.
Cool. What school did you go to and what did you study? Asks Okokoa.
Oh, it's
Okua.
I went to Stevens Institute of Technology. It's in New Jersey, right on the Hudson River, across from New York City. And I studied computer science there for programming. And I could talk a little bit, I guess, about if you're an aspiring game developer, skill sets that I think are valuable to you. One, love games, play a lot of games, be critical about the games you play, think about what you're feeling when you play them, and take note of the ways in which the game is making you feel that way so that you can also do those things in your games. And then the second thing that you should have is some skill that lets you actually create a game. So it could be programming, which is what I went with, and you program as well for this reason. I don't particularly love programming, but I want to make games, and it's one way to do that. Another one, if you can draw really well, or if you enjoy drawing, you can learn to draw really well, and that's a great way to get somebody to help you make a game. And the third one is much rarer, but if you can be like a pitch guy, if you're just like really good at like Billy May style convincing somebody that they want a game, or you see a market opportunity for a game and can get a bunch of executives to sign off on it, that's also a good way to get a game made.
Sure. So did you go to school to learn to make games? Did you always know you wanted to make games?
Yeah, like I said, I was programming on the calculator, so I already knew that I could express myself in this way. So all through college, I was making dumb little games as well.
Okay, cool. Oh man, these names.
We're gonna say each one.
Concob and hair.
Wait, you missed the one above it.
Oh, you did miss one. Sorry. No, we're gonna skip that question and we're gonna go back to Liz God.
I have a reverse question. When a letter is repeated, it's Liz Godd. Liz God. Do you hold down the D when you say it, or do you just repeat it? Is it Liz God or God?
Cool. Are you happy with developing?
No.
You like making games?
Making games is great. Programming is the worst. Some days I come in and I look at John and I go, another day in the code mines.
Yeah, I've gone on record several times in saying that programming is really not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's a means to an end. I love making games, and therefore I like programming because it helps me make games.
There's always small victories in programming, but
yeah,
the game, just making the game is why we program.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll go back to Concob and hair. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I agree.
I got it. Oh, cool. What do you do for a living? I guess we didn't really talk about what you do at Kongregate.
Yeah, so I work at Kongregate, and I'm in a similar role to John, kind of like in-house indie or something like that.
Yeah.
John was originally focused more on web, and I'm focused more on mobile, but our focuses have kind of blended at this point. John is working on a mobile game.
Yeah, sure am. It's a small screen. Okay. Kermond.
I know that guy.
You know that guy?
Yeah.
Besides Bloody Fun Day, what's your favorite urban squall game? Smiley face.
It's the open face smiley face. Actually, Bloody Fun Day was my favorite. Something that was really cool though, we did a lot of advertising games. It's kind of how you make your living when you're an indie. So we were contacted by Ubisoft to do a Ninja Turtles advert game for one of their Ninja Turtle fighting games that was coming out. And I grew up, I love the Ninja Turtles. So getting a chance to work with that property was really fun. And we made a little side-scrolling fighter game. And I don't think it has a very high rating on Kongregate. It's certainly done better than our dress-up games on Kongregate, which Urban Squall also did.
Let's see. If you had unlimited money, this is from Holy2334. If you had unlimited money, what game would you make?
Unlimited money.
I'm guessing that extends more to if you had unlimited resources, like all the time.
Well, yeah, time is weird because so much of game making is what's hot right now. For example, like idle games on Kongregate right now. Who else is addicted to idle games? I am. So it's kind of, I don't want to give myself unlimited time, but with unlimited money, I think I would do a puzzle game because I already have money, so I don't care about making money. So I would just make some really good puzzle games, I think, and just become like some eclectic puzzle game maker.
Cool. Let's see here.
Here, I'll
Okay.
say one that I've wanted to work on for a while. It's a game. Let's start with the Tetris viewpoint, and there's a little guy inside, like a little hero wearing a sword and a shield, and the AI is controlling him. He's running around at the bottom of this jar, and you control pieces that fall in from the top, and your job is to try and crush that hero while he tries and survives down there.
Awesome. Let's see. My name is nothing asks. Oh wait, hold on one second. Concobbin Hair says you butchered my name. It's pronounced Connor. Yeah, we really messed up there. Yeah. Sorry, Connor. We'll go back to my name is nothing's question. What is your favorite Flash game not made by you?
Oh man, maybe you guys can help me as the experts of all things Flash. I played this game a long time ago where you're this really beefy guy and you have this like Doom level assortment of weapons. Like you can launch chainsaw blades and you have like death lasers and stuff. And you get dropped into this world that has nothing but cute creatures running around in it. And for every second that you're playing, your score goes up. But every time you kill something, your score goes down. And the way the game works is you're given these like grotesque, gruesome weapons, and every death animation is equally grotesque and gruesome, even if it's a little bunny hopping across the screen. So it's like playing against your own desire to not want to kill all these cute things.
Was this a Flash game?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And the boss fight would be to put you in a room with a gigantic like screen-sized cute thing for a minute, and it only has 1 HP. So if you hit the attack button on any of your weapons at all, the screen fills with blood. Anyway, I don't know the name of that game, and I would love to play it again.
All right, if anyone knows the name of that game, jump on chat and let us know what the name of that game is so we don't go crazy. Let's see. Let's go back to talking about some of the games you're working on. How about the one you're currently working on, which is Puzzle Fuzz?
Yeah.
So tell us about Puzzle Fuzz.
I'm working on Puzzle Fuzz. So Puzzle Fuzz is a puzzle game, which is fine. It's nice to be back to working on puzzle games. And I wanted to start with like a puzzle quest or a Puzzles and Dragons sort of thing, where you're playing a puzzle and it's powering up some team of RPG characters. And those all seem like a little too simple to me strategy-wise. Like playing Bejeweled is not that strategically interesting. And I thought that I would make one that had a lot of strategic depth into the puzzle element itself. So that's what Puzzle Fuzz is. It's me trying to make a really deep puzzle game that also powers up these little creatures that want to kill each other, of course.
Sure. It seems like you're going through a lot of iterations, trying to find the right formula.
Yeah. I wanted to get just that part of it right. I wanted to make a thing where it's fun playing a puzzle and then charging up bad guys to shoot at other bad guys. And to get that correct, it took me 2 iterations. There's 2 episodes up on Kongregate now that you can play. You can definitely play the first one and the second one and see the iterations and the changes I've made there, which is a direct result of the feedback that I got on Kongregate, because everybody who uses Kongregate gives really good game design feedback as well. I guess because they all love games so much. And then I also run puzzlefuzz.com, where I have design blogs up on there, so you can read more in depth about why I made some of the decisions I've made in those games.
Cool. And what are you working on now?
Now I'm working on a Puzzle Fuzz for mobile, and it's probably going to be another single player Puzzle Fuzz, but I'm going to change up while you're playing it. I want to do something that's more focused on how people play mobile games, which is they want to check in every hour or so. They want to give it 50% of their full attention. It's less like sitting down at a computer for an hour and playing.
Got it. Cool. I'm looking forward to that.
The long-term goal is to get a multiplayer battling version, which I know people have already been asking for, and I'm getting there. I'm just one guy, so I have to take baby steps and build out my technologies one thing at a time.
Yay, indie dev sort of development. Let's see. Let's take a question from someone on Kongregate. How do you even start making a game? What skills do you need to learn how to make games? And that's from, help me on this one. 5 McGruber 8.
5 McGruber 8.
5 McGruber 8.
That's fun to say. You have a good username. Okay, 5 McGruber 8. Well, you don't need to learn programming to make games. You can make games anytime you want using the things around you. If you have friends, you can just come up with something for them to do. With a deck of playing cards, even, you can come up with a game. That's a good place to start, actually, is to start with real life stuff. Like, I don't know, let's say you're in the pool and there's a bunch of pool toys around. Use those pool toys and try and come up with a game that you guys can play. And that'll start to work out that muscle of coming up with things that are fun and fair and intrinsically balanced. And you can do stuff on paper. You can build board games. You can draw maps. You don't need to do digital games to make games. So I would start there. And then if it does interest you to make digital games, then you kind of got to put in your time. You got to do simple but not really interesting or fun games. You've got to do like the guess the number game. It's just a thing you have to do. You have to learn logic before you can talk to a computer and get it to run a game for you. So you have to build a bunch of boring games. But it's kind of like drawing. You just have to keep doing it. Nobody's born with artistic talent. They just really like drawing, and because they've drawn for so long, they get good at it. And programming and making games works the same way. So just there's no limits to a game. We could probably make a game with stuff in this room around us right now. So just start there and start practicing making games.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, like, I want to make games. How should I learn to program? And the way I explain to them is that programming is more of a tool to facilitate what you need to do.
Right.
And if you think about it as a tool rather than what makes your game, it makes it a lot easier to think about. And it's this tool you have to get good at, and you knowing how to use the tool will help make your game better, but it won't make your game intrinsically good.
Right.
Yeah.
There's actually this side project I'm working on with my buddy Alex Jaffe. We're working on a playing cards thing called Super Playing Cards. It's the sequel to Playing Cards. We're making a deck of 52 cards, except they don't just have the suit and the rank on them. They also have like a goblin on them, and a stat block for a goblin, and special keywords like diamond or vorpal or whatever. And the goal is that you'll be able to take these cards, and because there's so much more information on them, you can make more games with them. So that there'll be a good learning tool to learn how to make games off of these cards.
Cool. Do you remember the first game you ever made?
The first game I ever made was on graph paper when I don't know how old. I want to say I was like 8 or 10. I mailed it to Nintendo Power, and it was an RPG, like a Dragon Warrior overhead RPG with like block pushing puzzles. So I drew out all these diagrams of these block pushing puzzles, put them all in a pamphlet that was probably like 15, 20 pages, and then I mailed it off to Nintendo, and they of course send back a nice letter saying thank you. We don't take game suggestions from fans for legal reasons.
Yeah. That was nice for them to write you back.
Yeah, it was still great getting the letter. Like, oh, Nintendo wrote to me.
Uzzbuzz asks about Play Fun Days, asking why do you use hexes instead of, I don't know, squares?
For that one, I specifically chose hexes because if you're in one hex square, there's 6 around it, so there's more possibilities. If you were to play the game with only on a regular grid with only 4 options, you might end up with no good move to make. That still happens, of course, with 6 around you, but it's less likely to happen. Hexes I just like for artistic reasons as well. Like they just look cooler. But mostly I made the decision because I wanted you to be able to move in 6 ways.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people avoid using hex grids only because a lot of their games require like a keyboard input or some alternate input, and just working in hex grids can be a pain in the butt. So
yeah,
I understand why that happens. Cool. Let's take another question. Holy2334 comes back with the third question for the hat trick, which is, what is your favorite companion?
My favorite companion isn't released yet. It exists only in my mind. I'll show him to you. So if you're like me, you're upset with all of the super cutie patootie companions that are in the world. So I want there to be, it's going to be backwards to them. I want there to be Stabby the companion. He's just a big old knife in the back of some actual companion. And then he floats around and he's happy because he stabbed. And Stabby is happy when he stabs. Vote Stabby, everybody.
This plays a lot into the kind of games that you make, like Bloody Fun Day.
Yeah.
So far there has not been Stabby.
To be fair, I'll answer the question with the existing companions, and I believe his name is Walter. It's the crow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walter the crow is my favorite. He's so cute.
The crow-panion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was a poll recently.
He did pretty well.
There was a poll recently of the best
not #1
favorite companions. I think the crow was up there, and the 3-headed cat was also extremely popular.
I'm not a Kit Mara fan, sorry to say.
What's your favorite video game outside of Flash games? Let's say not Earthbound either.
Yeah.
That's from Snow 1 2. That's the best, easiest username yet.
Snow 1 2. It's gonna be, let's say, Katamari Damacy. I'll go with that. It's Katamari Damacy, or it's Sam and Max, something else with like a weird sense of humor.
Oh man, Sam and Max was weird. Yeah, Katamari. I love that game.
Yeah. Oh man, when you roll over a human and they're like stuck to the ball, like oh no, I can't get enough of that.
Yeah, that game was bizarre even for its time. Like just so out of this world. This game where you roll up everything and you just snowball it bigger and bigger, and everything like has like shrieks and cries, and there's like cops shooting guns at you when you're rolling them.
I like, stop shooting guns! Don't you know I have living people in this ball?
Yeah, I think Katamari is up there for me as well. Our favorite games.
I like the Assassin's Creed series a lot too. I don't want to spoil it. The end of the second game remains one of the most hair-raising moments in video gaming that I've ever experienced.
Cool. I don't think I still have not played an Assassin's Creed game.
You know, I would just, some guy on YouTube made like 2-hour-long Assassin's Creed things where you can watch the cutscenes and then see him like accelerated play through the relevant gameplay portions, and that'll save you a bunch of time. You're ready to play.
I heard the last one, the Pirates one, is really good, and that I should just jump right into that one. Yeah,
but for history, like spend 6 hours on YouTube watching that kind of stuff.
Cool.
John facts. John eats lunch at 11 a.m.
I do eat lunch at 11 a.m. I'm that guy. Cyrax BR159 asks what your favorite shooter game is.
Ooh.
Okay, so first off, do you even like shooter games?
Do we mean I'll do first-person shooter and shmups because I can't tell what shooter means?
And you gotta do third-person shooter.
Okay. First-person shooter is I think Unreal Tournament 2004 was my favorite one. I got some serious adrenaline addiction in college playing that game, where I would play for like 2 hours and I'd be shaking afterwards, and that's all I wanted in life was to play and shake. More recently, I like I'll step up from there. I liked Battlefield 1942. I liked Team Fortress 2. I played a lot of PlanetSide, the first one. I was the infiltrator class, the sneaky stabby class.
Stabby, yeah.
Stabby. Both stabby. And then recently I've been playing Destiny, which is a lot of fun.
Are you playing Destiny on Xbox One, PS4.
Oh, PS4.
PS4. Cool. Yeah, I still need to pick up a copy of Destiny. That sounds like a pretty great game.
If you get a copy of Destiny, I'll follow your level 1 character around and teabag everything you kill for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. What game franchise did you grow up with? Asks Eldeman311.
I was a total Nintendo fanboy growing up. I had the magazines. They would mail me VHS tapes of propaganda, and I would watch them over and over and over. So Mario is a big franchise for me. Zelda, Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda.
So which Mario is the best Mario?
Super Mario World is the best Mario.
Okay, so you're wrong. It's Super Mario Bros. 2. But thanks for playing.
Doki Doki Panic or
is.
Lost Levels?
No, Doki Doki Panic.
So you like a not Mario game with Mario artwork?
Yeah.
You like the game cosplaying as a Mario game?
I sure do. I like Super Mario Bros. 3, and I actually like Galaxy a lot too.
3's close. The reason why I picked World is because riding Yoshi is fun, and there's a lot more secret exits. And I think the secrets on the maps are the most fun thing in those games.
Yeah, working the key mechanic is ridiculous. Like
the noise Yoshi makes when he spits out the key.
There's also times where you're riding Yoshi and you're about to die, so you jump off of Yoshi and he just falls.
I never felt remorse during
I felt so bad. There's also times where you're riding him and you get hurt, and then he starts running away and you can't catch him, and he goes flying off.
He runs off a cliff,
Yeah. I could never get into the second game though. The Super Mario World 2.
Oh, where he were Baby Mario?
Baby Mario. I think it was like.
Did you know there was a competitive mode in that? You could enter a secret code which would load up 2 people as Yoshis trying to launch eggs at each other, I think. Or one guy was a shy guy with a rocket launcher, like an egg rocket launcher.
Yeah. Cool. All right. No, let's not do that question. Let's do this question.
Why not? What is it?
Oh, it was what college did you go to? We already answered that question.
Oh, okay.
As cake or pie?
Cake or pie? Pie.
It's cake.
Pie.
No,
it's pumpkin pie or it's cherry pie. And then funfetti cake.
Can we compromise at cheesecake?
It's both cake and pie.
I don't know where cheesecake falls into the cake or pie spectrum. Liz God with 3Ds says Meteoroid versus Zelda. Oh, Metroid versus Zelda.
I'm gonna go with Zelda on that. I didn't get into Metroid until Super Metroid. I didn't like the first one on Nintendo. Zelda I liked a lot more.
Did you ever get into the Metroid Prime first-person shooter games?
Yeah, it's only very recently that I've not been against doing shooters on twin sticks. More of a PC master race kind of first-person shooter guy.
So I know people who are really dedicated to either playing games on a PC, like they're really dedicated to like first-person shooters on a keyboard mouse,
right.
And there's people who grew up on Halo, so they're really dedicated to playing on on a controller. So what do you prefer, and do you feel like one is better than the other?
Yeah, well, the mouse is definitely better, and I'm pretty sure that I've heard some rumor that when Halo 2 is going to come out for PC, Microsoft actually toyed with having both of the servers be connected, the Xbox and the PC ones. But what they discovered is that the PC people of any skill level would totally dominate the sticks. So that seems to be empirical evidence that the keyboard and mouse is better.
Right.
But as for fun, they're both pretty much the same level of fun right now. There's been so much advancement done on how the sticks auto aim and snap and how they like smooth into place and everything that I've been playing Destiny, which is like the state of the art on that. It feels great.
Yeah. Bungie games have always felt really good as shooters. Remember the first time I played the Halo 3 beta and was blown away how nicely it felt in control.
Yeah, I actually went back and played GoldenEye again on N64 a while back, and it was like uncontrollable almost. I can't believe I played that.
It was I think he used the C buttons in the top right corner to move forward.
Yeah, and you had to trigger to aim.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's see. Where did you get that fox sticker in the background?
Those are from the companion contest.
From the companion photo contest. So we had a photo contest on Kongregate for you take a picture with one of your companion cutouts. We also have a Kongregate here, and
they mean this one. This is just a real companion floating over my shoulder right now.
Oh, that one.
We have them in the office.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, we have real companions here.
The ones on the website are just photos of the real, actual companions that float around.
Yeah. All right. What are some of the failures you run into when you develop games? Asks Weapon without a no.
Oh, I see. Weapon. I thought it was Weapon without a no. Do you encounter any fails in developing games? Yeah, all the time. Puzzle Fuzz Episode 1 was a pretty big fail, I would say. And I released that one. I guess you just, what do I want to say about this? It happens all the time, actually. The act of developing games is failing and then working around it. There's this loop where you try something, you see what happens, you learn from it, you try something else. And the more times you can do that loop, the better your game is going to be. So do you encounter any fails? Yeah, it's the process of making games is a giant failure.
Yeah, and I feel like in a lot of ways, that's why we do tests. That's why we do beta tests. That's why we hand it off to someone and say, hey, play this. How do you feel?
Right.
And it's always going back to the drawing board and iterating over every single part of the game.
That's the other thing. You get so close to your game that you can't see its flaws anymore, and you need other people to come in and look at it and be like, what? This game, I don't understand it.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing because a lot of the time when you start on a game, it's nowhere close to where it finishes in terms of how it looks, how it controls. Everything always changes.
Yeah. Bloody Fun Day started as a game called Cutie Popper, where it was like a collapse style game where you had to find groups of adjacent colors. It's actually the Puzzle Fuzz match mechanic, but with little cutie characters that you would pop and murder instead.
Yeah.
And then one day I put a little Grim Reaper on the board, and that then changed. Oh, it would be more fun if you controlled a guy on the board and have him pop the cuties. And then I ran into the thing I talked about earlier with the 4-way grid, and I moved to hexes to give them more freedom.
Yeah. And that was a really crucial game design change.
Yeah.
Ended up being better.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happens. Cool. Xfrogman43, this is a great question. Are you getting the new Smash Brothers?
Yes. I love Smash Brothers so much.
Andrew loves Smash Brothers a lot.
We're all
talking to him in the office.
We're all really excited in the office too because we have a Wii U hooked up in the main room, and we already play Towerfall all the time competitively. Towerfall is a great game. If you haven't played it, little archers trying to kill each other. Smash is going to be the new competitive thing in the office, and we're going to use it to dominate each other.
Yeah, we're
when the 3DS one comes out next week, everybody's going to have their 3DSs on their desk, and I'm concerned because we're going to be able to start games without having to get up.
Yeah.
So it's like even lazier we could be while we're battling each other.
Yeah, they launched a demo of Smash Brothers this week, and it was pretty solid. And I was working at GameStop Expo where they had Smash Brothers set up for both Wii U and 3DS, and both games felt really stellar.
I should go play.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait for that game to come out. I'll side note that question with which Smash Brothers character is your favorite?
Where did that come up? All right, let me walk through the history. So in the first Smash Brothers, it was Ness, who's from Earthbound, largely because he was from Earthbound and because his little down meteor kick was overpowered.
He's also kind of hard to unlock too, if I remember.
Yeah, you had to beat him, and it was like a sign of skill to be able to beat him. But yeah, he had a crazy back throw, and he could do that down kick and just meteor people. So he was also broken. In the second one, Smash Melee, I switched over to Luigi, specifically Pink Luigi, because I enjoyed beating people with this super pink character. And in the third one, I did a mixture of Lucas, who's from Mother 3, which is kind of like the sequel to Earthbound. I played a lot of Lucas and a lot of Wario because I had fun running people over with his motorcycle.
Right. He was in the last game, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about now is Brawl. And in this new one, I'm most interested in the Duck Hunt character because I just want to taunt do the laugh taunt all the time.
Yeah, in the demo, I'm really leaning towards Villager from Animal Crossing, only because like there's this entire 3 attack sequence where you have to dig a hole to plant a seed, and then the seed grows because you water it, and then the 3rd attack is you have to hit the tree twice, and then the tree just falls barely like far away from where you planted it, and that's the entire attack sequence. And it feels so long and needless, but you hit someone with it, and it's so gratifying to like actually hit someone with this tree.
He's also got that dead-eye 1,000-yard stare, which makes everything he does seem psychotic.
Yeah, so I feel like that's going to be the upcoming Office game for sure. It's gonna.
We should stream some of those matches.
Yeah, we'll get those streaming on a Twitch or maybe some other service. Ooh, here's a fun one. What is your favorite programming language? Asks Okokoa.
Our old friend. My favorite programming language, I guess it's ActionScript 3, which is how you make Flash games. Because I've been writing in that for like 9 years now or something. It's pretty good language. There's definitely ones I hate. I hate C++.
Let's see. I'm reading a question right now. Let's see. What is your favorite Kongregate mobile game?
Is it Little Alchemist or Tyrant? I play both of them pretty frequently. I'm gonna lean towards Little Alchemist more than Tyrant though. It's a cuter artwork that gets me.
Yeah, I like Tyrant a lot. I've been playing a lot of Tyrant. All right.
Yeah, you guys run that Tyrant guild.
Yeah, we got a solid guild.
John facts. They run. They're in a Tyrant guild together, and they like if they're not playing enough, they'll yell at each other. Like they'll run over their desk and heckle them to play the game.
I think yelling is a little extreme, but
John never yells at anybody.
There's definitely heckling. Let's see. Hardcore Cash 4 asks why we're so awesome.
Right. Why me and Hardcore Cash 4 are so awesome?
No. Why are you guys so awesome?
Why are you guys so awesome? Because we make video games.
We
all love video games.
Everyone should make video games. How long does it take you to make a video game? Asks Weapon Without No.
That depends on what your goal is. You should think about your time frame when you start making your game. So Bloody Fun Day, for example, I built that I built that in a hotel room over a week, and we had a competition. So Urban Squall was all over the country. I was in New Jersey. Punny, who owned the company, was in San Diego, and we had like an artist in Wisconsin. So once a year we would all fly together and we'd meet up in San Diego and talk about what we want to do next, and we have a little programming competition as well. So that's when I was working on Bloody Fun Day, and I built it during that break. So I started that saying, I only have a week to build a game. What's something simple that I can do? But I've definitely spent 11 months now on Puzzle Fuzz, and it took 6 months to get to the first release and 5 months to get to the second release. It'll probably be another 3 months to get to the next game coming up.
Cool. So what is your favorite idle game? Asks Brainer 2000.
It's Adventure Capitalist. I think I can say.
Maybe we should explain what an idle game is if people don't know what an idle game is.
An idle game is a game that you do not play, but you play it. I don't know. I get there's just a number that goes up, and you can every once in a while check in and click some buttons and make the number go up faster.
It's kind of like a passive game, like a game that you check in on every once in a while just to make sure that the hamsters are still running, and then you feed the hamsters a little bit and come back.
It skips all the hard work of playing the game and gets to the point. It's like you could work at a Subway making sandwiches all day, or you could own a Subway and just check in periodically. And the idle game is like the owning the Subway part, where somebody else is doing all the hard work, and you just come in like, oh, yes, numbers are fine, good, okay.
Making progress without having to do a lot of the work. Yeah. Let's see. We already answered the question about what your favorite game is. This is a good question from the same person, Brainer 2000. Do you spend a lot of time making games as well as creating them? And does it make it hard to balance since you're playing games and working on games?
For a long time, I just made games to the point where there was no boundaries between my work and personal life, and that starts to take its toll on you. So I have pretty clear boundaries now. You know, when I'm here at work, I'm working on my games 100%. When I'm home, I try not to program, just to let myself rest and get out of it. So I play more games there, or when I do work on games, there are things like the playing card project that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, when you're in a creative field like this, like I feel the same thing. Like if you're working on a project for 10 or 12 hours and you just don't want to spend another 10 or 12 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't even help because you're burned out.
You need to shift gears. You need to work on multiple things. I mean, that's just my personal way that I work. It's so important to keep playing games when you're making them, because you have to stay abreast of trends. You want to see what design innovations other people have come up with that you might be able to incorporate into games. You might get fresh ideas for new games that way. You also see a lot of the time game designs or mechanics or things that used to work really well that just have kind of faded out, that don't seem to work anymore because something new came along, or it's just really crazy how fast games have come along.
Something in the past 2 years that I started doing is just watching other people play a game, like on Twitch or whatever, or YouTube, and I don't need to play the game after that. Like some games, I'm just fine watching somebody else play it. I get everything I need out of a game.
Yeah.
Part of the problem with making games for a living is it gets hard to become emotionally invested into the game, to really put yourself in that world and feel what the game wants you to feel. You're kind of always one step out, looking at it and observing it and poking it and prodding it and like trying to understand the science of the game. So in a way that ruins the joy of playing a game.
Sure, you know how the gears,
how the
machine works. Yeah.
How is sausage made, John?
I don't know.
John owns a sausage factory.
I don't own a sausage factory. I don't even eat sausage. All right. So
it's pork, I was playing.
Do you ever think Half-Life 3 will be released? Serious question from Okakoa.
No, I don't.
You don't think it'll ever be released?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting that they care about the answer. I don't, because I don't think there's any incentive for Valve to release it. They only released the second one because they had Steam coming out, and they used all that fervor for that game to prop up Steam and get that going. If you look at Valve and Blizzard right now, they're not making single player purchasable experiences anymore. They're more interested in free to play online games, and I don't see why they would make Half-Life 3 until they have like a console to launch or another platform or something like that.
Yeah, I think about like Half-Life 3 is so hyped on the internet. I think about like the Duke Nukem hype train that happened for like what was it, a decade? That game was supposed to get launched, and there's just so much hype behind it that there was no way it could live up to it. And I wonder if Half-Life 3 is just a trap at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, Blizzard just recently canceled their sequel, I guess spiritual sequel to WoW that was in development for 7 years.
Yeah,
and it's the same reason why we won't see Half-Life 3 or like Diablo 4 likely. Is that's not really where the money is right now in making those single player games.
Sure. Let's see. What do you think about Mario Kart? Asks Fast as Pew Pew 555.
Are these rigged questions from people
I feel
who want to expose my awfulness? I hate Mario Kart. I, I used to like Mario Kart, but I hate the rubber banding aspect of it.
Cool, I'll counter Andrew. I love Mario Kart because of the rubber banding.
Yeah.
There's something really great about a game where you can play the game, and if you're falling behind due to 8 other people hitting you with shells, that there's a way for you to come back.
There's a game design mantra though, where when something bad happens to you, you want it to feel like it's the player's fault. And that is not upheld in Mario Kart. When bad things happen to you, it feels totally out of your control.
Right, but I mean, but it's easy enough to assign blame to who caused it. Like, it's the same way like when you played GoldenEye and someone shot you and you died. Like I feel like if someone's attacking you and like they're taking you down, like you put reasonable thought into, oh, that's why I'm falling behind. It's because this person attacked me.
Right, but you have some understandings, like the person is within line of sight of you. They had a better weapon than you. They aimed better than you. Something like that. They knew where to put proximity mine at a choke point. Something along those lines. In Mario Kart, it's like the guy in 8th place got a lightning bolt and zapped you while you were midair, so you fell, and Lakitu put you in 5th place. Something like that will happen. It's like you can't prepare for that. It just happens to you.
Sorry, how did you pronounce that? Lakitu?
Lakitu? Yeah. What is it?
Lakitu?
Lakitu?
I like Lakitu though. Well,
I don't know which one it is actually. I say GIF now to avoid the GIF.
It's GIF. I don't care what people say. USB Hub. That's a great username. USB Hub asks, do you use your programming skills for things besides games? I'll also ask the question too. So what exactly do you do in your games? Do you do the programming, the art,
yeah, that's good. Okay, so the first part, I do use my programming skills for non-game stuff rarely. Like if there's some annoyance in my life, I'll program something to get around it. For example, I'm left-handed. I use my mouse in my left hand, and it bothered me that the cursor is tweaked to the right. So I wrote a little software that, with a button press, Control F12, lets you flip the mouse cursor to be left-handed. And there's also that hand. I don't know which way the mirror. I don't know if we're mirrored or not to them, so I don't know.
It looks mirrored to us. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, I don't know either. But anyway, the hand is normally this way, but it also flips the hand to be left-handed this way when I click on links. That's all it does.
Whenever I see Andrew's screen, I see the cursor backwards, and it always throws me. I'm like,
yeah,
it looks backwards.
Yeah, that software is available on yatsandrew.com. By the way, if there's any lefties out there who could benefit. The second part was what do I do on my games. So I do all the programming and design on my games. I work with a talented artist, Tim Wendorf, who does all my art for me. I can't draw at all. And Tim also helps me out with my designs. He's got a good design sense on him, so we make a formidable team.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, I'll bounce ideas off of John. When I get stuck, I have to actually do that today after this, I think. And other people in the office.
Cool. So I think we're going to wrap up with just a few more questions. We're almost out of time.
All right.
I'm just going to scroll back up through the list of what we forgot. AGW030 asks, if you were an evil rabbit apocalypse, if you were in an evil rabbit apocalypse, what weapon would you use to defend yourself?
I wouldn't matter if the rabbits were evil. I might be happy being in the evil resistance to like the happy bunny takeover, just the same.
So it sounds like the evil rabbit apocalypse is an apocalypse of rabbits are evil.
Yeah. So they started breeding and they're coming in low to you. So I'd want like a lawnmower, I guess. Or would it get jammed?
Maybe a ride-on lawnmower, perhaps.
Like shoes with chainsaw blades on the tips.
And see, this is where game ideas come from.
Big snowshoes with spikes on the bottom, so you just run along the top of them all.
Okay. This picture in my head.
John has snowshoes with spikes along the bottom for running along rabbits.
What music do you listen to?
Almost anything except country. I'm pretty predisposed to not like country for whatever reason.
Cool. And I'll take one more question to finish this up. Not about Half-Life 3. I see questions rolling in right now. Waiting for that really good one. Greg's helping us get questions out.
While you're looking, I'll say hi, Panda, because somebody asked to say that.
Oki
Panda.
Oki Panda says hi, Panda. Okay, here's the final question. My name is nothing asks, sugar gliders or pygmy hedgehogs? Which one's better?
I've never seen a pygmy hedgehog.
Never seen
No. Sugar gliders are super cute. Okay, John's gonna get me.
I'm gonna give you a pygmy hedgehog
just to make this fair.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at that thing. It's the size of an egg.
Don't look at that. That one looks kind of scary. Don't look at that one.
We did the Google image search for pygmy hedgehog. If you want to follow along. I'm gonna go with the pygmy hedgehog, I think.
Cool. Well, that was the correct answer. So thanks, Andrew, for hanging out with us, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. It was fun. Thank you for all your questions. We'll continue to do this. We have a few developers who are going to come do future events. Juicy Beast is going to come join us, and Berserk Studios is going to join us as well. And we have a few other surprises. So keep watching, and thanks for joining us.
And follow me at Yates Andrew.
All right. And I will learn to stop the broadcast. Bye, guys.